Pakistan, unprecedented floods have left a third of the country underwater. Roads, homes, and crops have been washed away, villages submerged, and millions of people left homeless. Repairing the destruction will cost Pakistan's struggling economy some $10 billion. The country says it can't do it alone. In a volatile region surrounded by the geopolitics of Eastern and Western powers and a long-time hostile relationship with its neighbour India, how can Pakistan respond? I'm James Bays in New York. Pakistan's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Bilal Bhutto Zardari, is just 34 years old. The role the son of the late Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto plays may be crucial in dealing with the challenges ahead. Will he succeed? I caught up with him as he met global leaders at the 77th session of the UN General Assembly. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Bilal Bhutto Zardari talks to Al Jazeera. Bilal Bhutto Zardari, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan and the leader of the Pakistan People's Party. Thank you for talking to Al Jazeera. Now, I want to discuss lots of issues about Pakistan and the world, but it would be wrong for me to start anywhere else other than the flooding in your country, one of the worst humanitarian disasters that Pakistan has faced, a third of the country underwater. The UN Secretary General who visited said it was a monsoon on steroids, and we're now hearing about waterborne diseases. How is your country coping?
So we are a country that is used to floods, that is used to monsoons, but this is something else altogether. It's on an apocalyptic scale. We had the monster monsoon on steroids that lasted from mid-June till the end of August, and when the rain stopped, a 100-kilometer lake formed in the middle of my country that could be seen from space, that it's slowly making its way towards the ocean. As you mentioned, a third of my country, this landmass was underwater. 1 in 7 people, 33 million people, more than the size of the United Kingdom, affected. And this is on a scale that we had never ever seen before. So it's overwhelming insofar as the climate catastrophe and the floods itself is concerned. But then, as you mentioned, there's the health issues, waterborne diseases spreading like an epidemic. And given that our crops have been destroyed, more than 4 million acres of crops, standing crop destroyed from these floods, we fear food insecurity issues. And as you must be aware, we had just, while the rains were still ongoing, concluded our agreement with the IMF, and we're looking forward to a breath in difficult economic times. Now, that entire arrangement is based on figures and estimates that have also been washed away by the floods. This is truly and utterly an overwhelming climate catastrophe.
What are going to be the long-term effects? Because you say so many people rely on the land, they rely on their livestock, which is dead. Is there the possibility? I've seen people speculating there could be a famine.
I don't want to use the word famine, but I mean we're in a difficult situation. I mean, 33 million people, 16 million of which are children, 600,000 plus are pregnant women that are going to go into labor, and the issue of disease is a serious threat. On the health side, is a serious threat, and we anyway had food insecurity issues within the global context following COVID and Ukraine and all those other things. And this is an incredibly difficult blow.
You were recently meeting world leaders at the UN General Assembly in New York. How does this influence your thinking on climate change? And how do you get them to go from just words about climate change to immediate action?
I mean, this sort of apocalyptic scale events is sort of as evidence that we must work towards adaptation. And that's sort of the opportunity that I want to take out of this crisis, is now the heavy investment that we're going to have to do in rehabilitation and reconstruction. We would like to do in a greener way when we build back, to do so in a greener manner that's climate resilient going forward.
One of the places hit bad was your own home province of Sindh. Can I ask you, use that perhaps as an example? There were floods there in 2010.
Yeah.
With hindsight, do you think enough has been done? Your party had been in charge there for a long time. Was enough done? Some have said to me that some of the measures that were supposed to be put in place didn't actually happen because of corruption.
Oh, that's absolutely untrue. I'd actually like to know who these some are. Corruption is an issue; it's there, but it's nothing. As in, it doesn't have anything to do with the impact of this tragedy. There is no infrastructure, nothing that could have been in place. I just imagine where one would build a dam the size of 20 Tarbela dams, and at what point to capture floods descending from the skies. This is truly and utterly a new phenomenon. And what we discovered having come through this is it's not only us, but the international institutions, the international financial institution, all this talk about climate finance, etc., etc. The funds aren't there. The institutional infrastructure isn't there to address a catastrophe of this